Hey, wow. It me, Penny. I got a request to do some reviews for a few games that I played against Murfy. And we're gonna go through these, because gosh dang, gosh dang. So, Murfy plays Team Sage. Few things I want to talk about, like first thing first, right? Is round starts. Because round starts are a really, really big part of the game. If you get hit at round start, it doesn't usually spell good for you. So first things first, options for Beowulf, right? Beowulf's got some pretty good normals for round start. Notably chair normals. So like stand hard punch, where's my mouse? Stand hard punch covers like, try to get like a better line here. Like all of this space. Sweep covers like all of this space, and it gives you a full combo if they don't tech. Crouch hard punch covers all of this space. So realistically, you're looking at like this kind of wall of just Bayo normals. It's pretty good overall. So if you wanted to start with the chair normal, look at all that space you can cover. And that's just like, that's not the whole hitbox. It also is like closer, probably a bit further away too, because Bayo spacing isn't my specialty. As good as those are, they also lose to me calling Eliza, because Eliza will come out like back here, right? So Eliza's gonna be here and she's gonna stab you a bunch. Your normals won't stop that. Maybe sweep. Sweep might reach, but I'm not sure. It also loses to getting out spaced, which is a little bit difficult, or me just leaving. Your other options are jump forward JHP, which will realistically hit about here. That loses pretty hard to air grab because it's too slow. Up forward JHK will beat it out, and just me land canceling it will beat it. Again, we'll also lose to me just leaving. Another option you got is DP. DP will cover, it'll make you invincible, and it'll shoot off in this direction somewhere. You'll lose your chair. The worst part about it is you lose your chair and you're forced to play chairless. But it's pretty good at round start. It will lose to getting outspaced. Again, it's hard to do, but if anyone could do it, Parasol could do it. I haven't labbed it yet, really. But the big thing is it loses to, again, me just leaving and losing your chair. You also have the option of just leaving. And both characters have the option of leaving. I think backdash or upback is the two strongest things you could do at round start. Even though it doesn't give you pressure or any kind of offensive thing, it's the most defensive thing you could do. It's still one of your best options just because it doesn't lose to anything. So it's your safest option. The other thing you have to remember is that you have Brass, which is this just giant wall that he'll hit everything. It really makes it so I can't backdash, so if I'm going to be playing defensively, I'm going to be upbacking. Because Brass will be backdash. So that's another thing to keep in mind. So when you're trying to calculate what you're going to do at round start, think of those things. Those are really your best options. And the reason I'm going over this so heavily is because you kind of have this notion of when you get hit, you just lose because you can't block, and blocking gets you killed, so you need to do something else. But if you get hit, you're already on the defensive where you don't want to be, and you want to watch where you got hit. Round start's a really, really easy place to get hit at, just because it's so... There's nobody's at an advantage. It's just rock, paper, scissorsy. And that's not true, because you have, like, reads and, you know, past experiences to go on. But everyone's at neutral, and you gotta do something. So that's why I'm going over this so heavy. Parasol's options, in particular, dash low, which will hit you at round start, but loses to DP, it loses to calling Brass, it loses if you up forward, it loses to a lot of things, but it's definitely the most aggressive round start. I'm going over these really quick. Like I said, just backdashing and leaving is really strong. Can't backdash against Brass, but can't up back. And the reason I'm going over this is because in all 3 games we played that I'm going over, my round start was just up forward and do stuff. And the reason my round start was because your round starts usually consisted of brass, which covers like, let's say like here, right? And either backing up and playing defensively or doing some kind of ground normal, which meant that when I let's get like a different color up in here, blue. So when I up, oh, blue doesn't work. I'll just go back to red. So when I up forward, right, this brass range, I am already over it. It will not hit me. So calling brass already isn't going to work when I up forward. So that means that when I up forward like this, if I'm going to be doing a normal, your two options that beat it are crouch, hard punch, and DP. And that's kind of the reason why I went over this so much, because you had trouble at round start and you were usually on the defensive from round start because I was up forwarding. And you have to recognize that that's what's putting you in a bad situation, and you need to beat it with either crouch, hard punch, stand, hard punch, or DP. Those are the kind of things you have to watch for. But anyway, 6 minutes in, let's actually watch the video game. So you round start with a hot normal. Round start hot normals aren't the best. The reason you did that is because, just for context, is because I said earlier that hot normals and neutral weren't the worst thing ever, because it's a pretty long range overhead. And you could see how long it was, because you did actually hit Eliza out of Butchers. That being said, if I'm going, what hop normal would be at round start is me just down backing and holding it. Backdash will beat hop normal. Up forward will beat hot normal, as you saw. Up back will beat hot normal. Crouch medium punch. So hop normal will only beat me down backing, and I guess if I do dash up low, it might win. It'll probably win. So it doesn't have the greatest success rate, and it's probably not a thing you really want to be doing at round start. Anyway, now that we're here, speaking is hard. I've already done up forward JHK. I've already done a tier toss. That means that I am controlling so much space right here. This tier on you right now means that everything I do to you is mad plus. And that means that you want me to not hit you with something. So when I'm coming down, I'm going to come down with JHP, which will cover like all of this space right here. Come down with JHK, which covers like... I lost my mouse. It covers like all of this. Could come down with JMK and do like a pop on the float. You don't want me to be doing that. Good news for you, you have options like crouch hard punch or DP that both have really good disjointed air hitboxes. I guess DP's not disjoint, but it is a DP. And both those will beat whatever I do out of this tier. You will probably hit me 95% of the time by anti-airing me out of this. You also have Airwolf if you wanted to commit, but it's probably not worth it. So I come down with the JHP. You up back it. Yeah, pretty much. So I'm going to pressure you here. Now here, you call assist during the block string. Calling assist during block string, I'm not going to be able to show it this game, but I do show it in a later game. Calling brass during a block string is not... It's not a DP. It's not a real good defensive assist. It's armored. It's big, but it's very possible that he just gets hit and then you get like happy birthday. So something I want to point out here. Again, this tier is on you. That tier means everything I do is going to be plus. Tier plus crouch medium punch means that all of this space right here, all of this is a 3-hit super plus and super convertible if it hits. It's really strong, and because normally brass would beat that because it's only 2 hits, but because the tier's there and it has the 3rd hit, brass is going to get blown up. So if there's a tier on you and you're around mid-range, you do not want to be calling brass because brass will not win. Okay, moving on a little bit. So brass gets blown up. Now there, point this out for a second. You're in pressure. You just blocked the crouch medium punch. I've gone into another tier. Big Band absorbs the tier. Which is relevant because it being plus, that tier would have hit you out of your up forward and you would have gotten counter hit. They do up forward JHP out of a block string, which at best does what you see here, where they both trade. If I was on top of my conversions, at worst, I literally get a full combo off this. So you don't really... Up forward JHP is more of a spacing tool than it is a pressure tool or get out of pressure tool or anything like that. It's a really slow button. Better options to do there would be just push block me out, block the thing, and then push block. Also gets me off of band. Could have been an empty jump. Could have been a lot of things that weren't, wouldn't lead to a full combo. Now here, you push block the air normal, and it leads to a bit of an awkward situation, right? That really weird, just nothing's happening right there. When you push block an air normal like that, there's a few reasons why you do it. There's a few upsides and there's a few downsides. One of the upsides is that it holds you in the air for half a second, like you see here. And when I go for my crouching light kick, because I just figured you wouldn't push block, you're still in the air, and you can come down with a button and punish me, and counter hit me on whiff, which is really strong. So this right here is an opportunity you had for a full combo. The downsides of doing it is that if you just want to play defensively and you're not fishing for this, and you just want me off of you, you don't want to do it in the air, especially not off an air heavy, because push blocking keeps you in block stun for a longer amount of time. And it also, while it pushes me away, the way my dash works, I will be in your face again in half a second. So that's not going to do all that much if you're trying to use it defensively and not do anything afterwards. If you're trying to push block offensively and bait out this whiff so that you can punish me, it's really good. So I'm not saying don't ever use it, but make sure you're using it correctly. Also here, all this time right here, before Eliza comes out, while I'm standing here. Hold on. All this time before Eliza comes out, you could push a button at any time here and get me in happy birthday and hit both characters. And with where we are on the screen, you might be able to get a double snap depending on what kind of combos you do. You have breath, so probably. So you want to watch for that too. But you eat the butchers. There's the mix-up. I say mix-up kind of loosely. If you're not ready... Sorry. If you're not ready for it, it's a little bit hard to block. But definitely make sure you're watching for that, because I am definitely jumping over you. It is kind of slow. It's not so slow that it's 100% beatable if you're not labbing it out, but it's definitely something that you could react to. So here you get hit, and now you're going to lose half a Beowulf because I dropped my combo here. But that, once again, it wasn't because you were blocking wrong. It was because you got hit in the first place. There were a few things that leading up to that butchers into spiral thing that you could have avoided. That would have never put you in this situation in the first place. And those are the kinds of things that you want to really focus on. So I know from our past games that you're really into reversaling. So on your wake up, you have the option of DP, you have the option of arm, you have the option of... Beowulf's got a ton of reversals. He's got freaking a ton of reversals. Which means I'm totally going to safe jump plus assist. Safe jump plus assist is really strong for what you can see here. The DP's going to whiff. I'm going to put a hitbox out anyway, and even though your DP's plus, you're still going to get stabbed. So, while reversaling is really, really strong, you don't want to do it too much because it's really, even if it's plus, it's really easy to bait out like this. That's not a difficult thing to do. Go for some burst baits just because I know that you're still, you just reversaled, and I want to get the reversaling out of you so that I can get my game plan going. Sorry, hold on, I'm trying to catch up on my notepad document. Man, this is the most professional thing you've ever seen. Okay, so right there, again, Eliza comes out. You have 1.5 million years to push a button and hit her. One way you can hit and assist is crouch hard punch and then jump cancel, and that means that you're 100% safe because you can jump cancel on assists. You could have also just thrown out a crouch light kick and been fine. If you hit Eliza, it's a longer time before I can call Eliza again, and that's a really big deal. As well as her taking damage. Something to note there. I don't actually know if you're aware of this, but there's a mechanic called Absolute Guard, And basically what that means is that while you're blocking and you push block, if you hold backwards, push block, and then do down back, you're technically blocking both low and high at the same time, and that's not a real mix-up at all. On top of that, you have 2 meter, so you could push block the butchers into arm, PBGC, anything. PBGC, you don't have chair, but PBGC arm. There are a lot of things you could do there and not just hold that mix-up. So you definitely want to be aware of that. The number one thing that'll blow up Butcher's pressure is just push blocking. Absolute guard in PBGC. But you get hit low, that's a dead Bayo. Go for the incoming. It's a hard incoming to block. Hit overhead, it's mashable, but I'm burst baiting too, so I don't blame you for not mashing. I'm gonna go back for half a second. Right here, this looks like you're still in my pressure, right? That really looks like a pressure thing. But you're not in my pressure during that. As soon as I hit that crouch medium punch and I stop pushing buttons, we're back at neutral. You have options here again. You could battle butt, you could dynamo, you could tumble run, you could you could up forward. That's not all real pressure. And while you're in range, just to kind of give you a small example. Try to catch myself before I dash and not miss the pause button. Oh my god. I'm too fast even for myself. Okay, here, sure, good enough. Just to give you an example of the ranges that Parasol can cover, right? Oh, I screwed something up. Okay, give you an example of the ranges Parasol can cover. From here, crouch medium punch will max range you here. I can dash low, which will hit you low. Stand hard punch will cover about this space. Crouch hard punch covers this space. Pillar covers kind of this range-ish. Sweep will cover about the same distance. This is a really scary wall to be up against, and especially with butchers. It's really hard to get in on that. The two options I can actually hit you with, well, where you're standing, though. All these options in front of me, yeah, they're kind of scary. Yeah, it kind of means that your offense is a bit trickier. But the only two options that can reach you are crouch medium punch, which I have to cancel into tier. There's no tier on you, so I can't convert the crouch medium punch. Which means if I hit you with one crouch medium punch, you can push block me out. The other option, dash up low, because I have to dash first, you can totally hit me out of. So while you're here, and there's kind of a wall in front of you that's scary, you're not really in any danger. And you still have options. So let's get back to the video. Hit you low. Go for the burst baits, you burst. It's not real if I don't think you're gonna burst. That right there was huge. That's a thing that you'll see Parasols do a lot. It's a problem. It is 110% punishable if you see the tier toss. It's a little bit hard to react to, but if you see the tier toss, you're definitely punishable. You push block me out, right? And that means you're out of pressure. That's it. That's all you had to do. I'm making it sound a lot simpler than it is, but a lot of my pressure is just tier things. And you can see as soon as you push block me out, now that we're here, you're literally not in pressure anymore. We're back in neutral. Something I do want to point out, though, is that as soon as you're out of pressure, the first thing you do is up forward, double jump, jump medium punch. That's a habit that you have a lot, kind of on all your characters, and I don't think it's relevant this game. But it's definitely something you want to watch yourself doing. Make sure as soon as you use the second jump, it's a lot easier to anti-air you, and especially when you're using a normal like JMP, which is really good like sideways and upwards, but not the best down. So here you kind of do it again, and I'm guessing it was a misinput. But I want to point this out. You do the JMP here. Well, I'm standing all the way over here. So that's definitely not going to reach. And then even here, if you do the JMP is going to cover... It is JMP after all, so it's probably going to cover like this space right here. That's probably even too far. It's probably going to cover like this space, but I'm all the way back here. I do not care if you're throwing out air normals. And I know you miss input and throw out people's elbow instead, which is totally punishable. And a mistake. But you still have the danger of being trip guarded, you still have the danger of being anti-aired, you still have so many things that could happen to you by throwing out a normal while you're like, it's just not gonna hit. So you throw out the people's elbow, I get the punish. Fun thing about this incoming here, this incoming is specifically designed to beat Timpani. So I don't think you ever do it. I think you get hit here. Yeah, but don't Timpani on incoming versus Parasol. You just get fuzzy. That's weird because it looks like you burst on the projectile, but it's still a bait because Parasol's Parasol, and I just bait for days. I think you're gonna mash. So here you mash. You were mashing, but you weren't just like mashing. You were waiting for the burst bait to end before you mashed. I think the tier hit you because you saw the burst bait was over and then you mistimed it. But if you're going to mash here, level 3 is definitely not what you want to mash. Level 3 is not going to kill anyway. And if you use level 3, we're mid-screen. If you'd instead done like SSJ, for example, you'd have put me in the corner, spent less meter, and basically could have gotten more out of it. And even then, you could brass, which is harder to punish than SSJ, even though it's still kind of easy. And won't cost you any meter. So you'll still have level 3 in case you want to kill a character. It does hit because I was hitting Crouch Light Punch. And you kind of miss it there because he hit Stand Medium Punch. You block the tier into level 3. That's chip. Your only option there really was parry. You kind of had to hold it. Unless you wanted to be a god at parry. But that's game 1. Let's move on to game 2. You can see my videos folder. Oh man. Okay, game 2. I actually only played Parasol Point for the first game. And I'm not going to go over Eliza's round start options because they're kind of the same as Parasol's. Not so much in the big hitbox department, but more in the what I do department. I'm just trying to stop brass from coming out. That's kind of my big goal. So, I think you call brass here. You do. I call assist because in case you don't call brass, I get the tier pressure. If you do, you punch Parasol, and I don't really care about that right now. She's still at full health. As long as I'm up forwarding out. Now, right here, you can see brass hits Parasol, and you know I'm coming in at you. You have forever to react to this. This is the perfect time to start throwing out crouch hard punches, DPs, stand hard punches, jump forward JLK, even if you wanted to get nuts, Street Fighter-y. You have a long time to anti it here, but you do hold the air normal, and as soon as I hit an air normal on block, I don't have free pressure because if I IAD again, it's mashable, but it is still kind of pressure. So I go for another IAD. You push block me out, which is a safer idea. It's a little bit riskier because you have to guess right on the 50-50, but I'm Eliza, and all Elizas go overhead. Here you actually spaced a JHP really gosh dang well, and I wanted to point it out, because this thing that gets dropped right here is exactly where Eliza was standing, and that is at the very tip of the chair. So, props for spacing that way. The Sekhmet was actually a mistake. I didn't actually want Sekhmet, but it worked out for me, so whatever. You didn't grab after the Butchers, but whatever, it's safer to grab there anyway. This is huge. This I need to talk about. You missed and put a taunt like 4 times. And then, I don't actually, it was probably once. And by the time Bella's over, you're already taunting. You have the 3 hype, but the 3 hype's not gonna do anything for you because I'm already out of the combo. We're back in neutral. I'm full screen, which is kind of where I want to be against your team. You definitely super want to lab out making sure that you can consistently get a taunt into a combo, or just holding stand light punch and getting 2 bars into a combo. Or just doing something so that you can keep it going and keep the mix going. Because that's a huge mistake that you punished me for. But it wasn't really a punish because the only thing you got was hype. And if I can keep you from hitting me, I don't care about hype. So, that's huge. Here you do JHP, which again isn't a bad move. It's just line cancelable. But then you start doing it into blitzers. And the thing about JHP into blitzer is it's still not really safe. It's actually kind of more unsafe. It's just more of a guess on whether you're blitzering or not and in what direction. I'm talking about this like it didn't work and I'm punishing you. And I obviously didn't punish you because you got out. But when you blitzer like this in the air, you can't block until you hit the ground. And if I was good, I have a million years right here to either push stand medium punch or push Horus. Because you were literally right in perfect stand medium punch range. So while I didn't punish it, it's still something you want to be... If you're going to be doing blitzers, you want to be very careful about it and make sure that you're like getting something out of it. I try to punish after seeing that I missed the thing, but whatever. You do it again here. I get pressure. Now this is huge. You block the stand light kick, and then you call brass. It actually looks like you pushed brass slightly before, but brass isn't armored from frame 1. So if you're trying to use brass defensively, it's very, very possible that you just get hit like this and happy birthday. It's not the hardest thing in the world to do. And now that I see that you're really trying to call brass defensively, I want to blow it up, basically. And because you're using brass defensively over your TP or your arm or whatever, I know that as soon as brass is on cooldown because I hit him, I'm free to do this pressure. So I do Rising JLK plus tier into JLK, air dash cancel, JLK jump heavy punch. Holy heck, that was hard to say. That's not real. That's super mashable. It's not a real thing. But I know that you're trying to use your assist over using your other options. So because your assist is on cooldown, I can just kind of get away with it. You have not made me respect any kind of anti-airs yet. So once again, to actually get this to cross up, you have to delay it a lot, and because you're delaying it, that means it's super mashable. That's still though. So because I don't respect an anti-air yet, I'm just free to do all the mashable stuff. Even though it's like really dirty, it all gets beaten by mashing. I don't know what happened there, you just gotta stop blocking. Grab plus assist. I dropped a reset here. You grab me to the corner, and then you miss the grab. That's a really, really big grab to be missing. That's another conversion you might want to lab at, because that is a situation that you could have gotten so much out of. And here's, when I start talking about like habits and patterns and stuff, this is really, really where I want to show it off. So you call brass kind of offensively. You do it after a heavy, right? So you do crouch heavy punch, call brass. From these frames right here, I mean before band actually starts up, so like a second ago, you're still in recovery from doing your heavy, and Big Ben doesn't have armor yet, which means there's a really, really easy happy birthday there. And I see that, and I say, okay, I know that's not real. I didn't punish it this time, but if you do it again, I got you. The other thing I noticed is that after brass is hit, the first thing you do is up forward JMP. Which doesn't seem like a lot right now. I did just block the brass, and then this hit. So it wasn't a bad idea, but it's still a habit that I noticed. Here you do it into lock and load. I poke into pressure. I mistimed my assist call. This could have been huge. This could have been a double snap easily. I don't know how much you've lobbed those out, but once again, I noticed you're calling brass defensively, and then up forward medium punch directly after. So that's twice you've done it now. And now that I know you've done it twice, it's very, very likely you're going to do it a third time. So I wait it out again. Go for some pressure. I see the brass. As soon as I see the brass, I make sure I'm safe. Paraslow gets punched. I don't get punched, though. I'm making sure I'm safe. You go for the up forward JMP again, because you've done that the last 2 times. That's really easy to air, and now it's a full happy birthday on both characters. So that's 110% what I'm talking about with being careful when you call brass. At this point, it's like, they're both kind of dead. They would both be dead if I was nice and I didn't drop my DHC. I did it a bit too early. Bella falls out. You weren't blocking. I don't know what happened, but Big Ben's coming in at 1 health. If you don't parry this, you lose. It still trades because tiers are really good. So that's that game. Biggest thing to learn from that one is just making sure you're careful with your assist calls. You gotta be super careful about your assist calls, and you gotta be super careful about when you're doing jump-ins. Okay, last game. Frame rate's dying a little bit. There we go. So here I do an empty jump forward again, because I'm waiting out for the brass. I think you're going to call brass, so I'm jumping forward plus dashing. I see that you just do an empty jump back without any buttons. So that's a pretty easy just air grab. If it got tech, I didn't care that much. Go for the burst bait because I think you're mashing. I drop a few air dash cancels here. I don't know if you recognize that or if you just got done with the IAD pressure. Either way, this arm was a really, really smart arm. This arm was really good. I think it's the first time you anti-aired me from an IAD. The entire, I'm going to call it a set, even though we were in a lobby. This was a good idea. I like this. JHP plus brass is actually plus enough on its own that you get a free mix-up as soon as you land. The blitzer just makes it so that you're minus when you land, which turns JHP plus brass. So, like, one of the things I do when I play Bayo Band, right, is JHP plus brass, and then you do a hop normal into a low or just a low, like straight up. They're still blocking the brass, so that's free. You can't do anything about that. As soon as you do the blitzer, you lose your mix-up opportunity. Now when you land, you're minus, and even though you're safe, I'm not eating a mix-up, and I can push a button. I tag band, which is actually huge. I think again that you're not going to mash, because you did just do the arm. But the only thing you got off of it was an arm. So I didn't know if you saw the reward in that. Which meant that when I wanted to hit you with pressure here, I can start doing the tricky stuff. And do empty IAD, fast fall grab into a low. Which definitely works. I half didn't expect it to work, so I went for the overhead anyway. But you thought I was going to keep going low. So it works out. So really, what you should take from that is less that the arm was wrong, and more that I just haven't been conditioned for the arm yet, so I don't respect it. You hit me with it once, but I still don't respect any form of anti-air, so I'm just going to keep pushing buttons. Here's a full combo. This is a thing you're going to seriously get used to. You made the reason I put this game in specifically is because you made a mention in chat about not snapping in and like ruining your team order. The thing about Sage's team, which is this team, is that it's really, really good in any order. So while I'm putting your brass in, because the brass is the thing that I'm kind of scared of the most, and now you don't get access to the assist, you still have a really good DP assist and something that gives you big band taunt for free. So you definitely want to maybe start playing your team in different orders until you're really comfortable with even having band point like this, because this is a situation that you'll find yourself in a lot. Once again, I do the up forward JLK to beat Timpani. Just because everybody Timpani's on incoming. It's the thing I've just gotten in the habit of. It's going for a bit of a mix. That's half real. That is not a very good defensive option. So, I like to do a lot of safe jump things. This is kind of a me-specific thing. I like to do a lot of safe jump things. This isn't technically a safe jump, but it's the same kind of thing where I can do a low, check if you're still there. As soon as I see it doesn't hit, I don't push anything else, and the bell tag gets blocked, and it's really easy to punish. You don't really want to be using a raw tag as a defensive option on this team at all. All the raw tags kind of suck, except for maybe band, but even then it kind of sucks. A better option that you could have done there is blocked on big band and then alpha countered to Beowulf. You still get banned out, you still get your brass assist back. You get Bayo on point, which is where you want him, and you come in with a DP that's plus, which is huge. And that's a lot better than putting Bella in and having her exploded. So that's a free punish. I'm going to put band in again because I seriously don't want to deal with this brass. I'm going to go for the anti-Timpani again. I don't know what hit you there. There was no counter hit. There was no, like, you were blocking the wrong way. I think you were trying to, like, forward dash or jump forward. But I'm in your face, so that's not a thing. So I'm just kind of doing a small bit of pressure. Right here, again, you push block me out. We're back in neutral right here, right? This means that you have so much space that you can control again, especially on band. Band has huge space control. So like symbols will hit all of this like area. That's probably a bit too big, but should I get a more realistic like? I lost my mouse cursor. There it is. Let's say like probably about there-ish is the space symbols controls. You have light brass, which controls all of this. You have sweep, which controls all of this. You have crouch hard punch, which controls, you know, the entirety of that. Crouch medium kick covers you like around here. All these options to control space. So anything I do from right here... Oh, even stand light punch is really good against IEDs. And that'll cover, like, there-ish. All these options to control space. Now you have the wall, and I have to get in on that wall. But I kind of figured that you'd respect my options. So... I'm coming in with tier. I'm going in above you, trying to go above the symbols angle I was talking about earlier, because that's the move I'm really trying to avoid. But you don't really push anything. So I just kind of get in for free. I get the overhead hit. Really a big thing you want to take away from that is just making sure that you know your angles, you know what moves control what space, and that you're abusing them when people enter that space. It's something that takes a long time to get used to, but it's still something really important. That right there, I don't know what you were pushing. I don't know what Bella's air incoming options are. I don't think she really has any good ones. So you unless it was grab, because you thought I was going to grab. That's very possible. Generally, Eliza's will do the medium punch vortex more. And you definitely don't want to be pushing buttons against that, because the entire thing is disjointed, and there's not a button you can push that will beat out, say, medium punch. It's just not going to happen. So that's back into the corner. I missed my burst bait. I get supered for it. It was a good super, I'm going to be honest. If I did a restand into overhead thing, the super would have beat it. It beat more options than it lost to, and the burst bait's inconsistent on Bella anyway. So even though I was trying to burst bait it out, I'm still going to call it a good super idea. Okay, so this, once again, this is huge. You're full screen, and you do jump, double jump, jump, medium punch. You're half screen, jump, medium punch is going to cover probably about, like, here-ish. And I'm just, even my assist isn't over there, I'm way over here. So I don't know what kind of space you're trying to control with that. And I've seen you just... I know that you have a habit of doing it, and I saw you just do it, too, from full screen. So, when I see you jump again, even though I'm backdashing, I start forward dashing immediately, because I'm like, okay, he's going to jump in from there, he's going to do jump medium punch. You cannot contest Eliza when she's on the ground. She will anti-air you, and you will get blown up. So that's a full combo into a dead Bella. Bayo gets air grabbed. I am out of Undizzy here, so I gotta do something. I went for a segment reset that only works on band. This is what I want to talk about, though. I don't know what this was supposed to be. I'm assuming it's supposed to be a grab, and you screwed up the punch input, and you got a kick on the ground, crouching. I don't know what it was. In situations like that, though, when I've already used like the first chop and not the second chop, you normally want to snap, especially with 3 meter, over doing a grab, because snap will hit the skeleton in both air and the ground, whereas the grab, you kind of have to guess a little bit. There's some moves where you don't. So, don't be afraid to snap the spook. Definitely don't try to hit the spook, because the spook will blow you up. And that's 3 games. Basic things to take away from this. Hopefully the point I'm trying to make is not you got hit and then you just guessed wrong all the time and then you died because you guessed wrong. The big point I'm trying to take away is that even though you got hit, something had to go wrong for you to get hit in the first place, and those are the things you want to avoid. Making sure that you're breaking out of bad habits, making sure that you're understanding what I'm reading off of you and what kind of like messages you're putting out, I guess. That's not the right words, but you want to watch what gets you hit in the first place more than anything else. Hopefully this was some kind of helpful. Freaking, it's long as heck, but yeah. For anyone else watching, if you got replays you want me to look over, I'm not Duck. Go send them to Duck. Duck does a much better job than I do. Otherwise, I don't know, send me it. I'll do a thing. Don't tell me what to do. Thanks for watching.